Let me show you how two chords can totally change the vibe without changing the guitar part at all. For this example, we're playing in the key of C. D minor 7 is going to be the 2 chord and G7 is going to be the 5 chord. The idea this time is going to be to keep the guitar part fixed and use the chords underneath to shape the sound. If you've been following my videos, it's actually the opposite of what I do. Most of the times my chord or harmony is fixed and the guitar part is the one that is creating the movement. Let me show you first the two guitar parts in the back that make the groove work. So to start with guitar 1, I'm playing this D minor 7 shell voicing. I got the root, flat 3, flat 7. And for the 5 chord, I'm playing this G7 voicing. I got the root, the flat 7, and the 3rd. And the groove goes a little bit like this. Now for guitar 2, I'm going to play a single note line. And the first thing I want to do is try to find a common tone in between these two chords. Now D minor 7, D is the root, of course. But for G7, D is actually the 5th. So now that we have a common tone in between these two chords, I'm going to add some extra notes. I'm going to go a whole step down to C, that's going to be the flat 7 over D minor 7. And then over G7, I'm going to go a half step down to B. That's going to be the 3rd of G7, right? So for D minor 7, I have this. And then for G7, I just go half step down. Now let's go back to the main guitar part and take a look at this concept. Again, the idea is going to be to play a fixed guitar part and make the chords underneath shape the sound. Now I'm playing this guitar part on the top 3 strings. This means that I'm going to have 3 note chords. I'm going to try to relate these 3 note chords to the harmonized triads in the C major scale. So let's first try to harmonize the C major scale, right, on the top 3 strings. I'm going to try to keep the voicings as close as possible. So I'm going to start with this C major, that's the 1 chord. I have a D minor here, that's the 2 chord. I'm going to go to E minor here, that's the 3 chord. I'm going to go to F major here, that's the 4 chord. I'm going to go to G major here, that's the 5 chord, A minor, the 6 chord, and B diminished, the 7 chord, and back on C major. So again, I'm going to relate my guitar part to the harmonized C major scale, right? So I'm going to start with this chord, right? My guitar part is starting with this chord. That's a B diminished triad, first inversion. I got the flat 3, flat 5, and the root. From here, I'm going to go to this chord, that is D minor root position, right? Root, flat 3, and 5th. And to finish, I'm going to go to this chord shape. That is a D minor 7. Here I got the root, the flat 3, and the flat 7. So now the idea is going to be to play these chords over D minor 7, right? That was the first chord in the harmony. So I'm going to use this open D string to hear the bass. So I have B diminished over D. Now I have a D minor 6 here. I got the root, the flat 3, and the 6. Then of course D minor over D. I just have a triad, minor triad. And then D minor 7 over D. Again, it's just a D minor 7 here. So the movement is from D minor 6 to D minor to D minor 7. Now let's create the same movement but over G, right? So again, B diminished, that's the 7th chord, but this time I'm going to put my bass on the 5th chord. I have a G7 right here. Then I'm going to go to D minor, the 2 chord, but with the bass on the 5th chord, I got a G7 sus2. There's no third here. I got the root, 5th, flat 7, sus2. And the last one was D minor 7 over G. I got a G7 sus4. I got the root, 5th, flat 7, sus4. Again, there's no third. So over G, again, I have a G7, G7 sus2, and G7 sus4. So that part sounds like this for both chords. So now for the next 2 bars, I'm going to play exactly the same idea, but in another inversion. So I have a B diminished triad here, second inversion, right? I got the flat 5, the root, and the flat 3. Then I'm going to go to D minor, right here, and then I'm going to go to D minor 7. So again, if I play this over D, I have D minor 6, D minor triad, and D minor 7. Now if I change my bass to G, I have a G7, I have a G7 sus2, and I have a G7 sus4. So again, I'm just playing on the top 3 strings, and that part sounds like this. Now, if I put all that together at the end, I have this.